I'm Paul Huizinga, this is Trevor Anderson. You're watching Power Automedia's YouTube channel, and today we're doing something kind of interesting. We did a video a while back where we compared a $9,999 Coyote to a $9,999 LS3. One thing we totally forgot in that video was to actually measure them and compare their physical size. So we thought, let's drag out all the engines we got in the back of the shop and measure them.
So we've got a few different selections here to look at. First off is our Project LSX 376, which is a true LS through and through. But then we've got our Project Motown build from World Products here. Now this thing's a small block Chevy from the deck down. And as Paul mentioned, we've got our budget build $99.99 Coyote motor here. Maybe a little different with the double overhead cams, a little wider.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of an apples to orange comparison because this is an all aluminum engine, aluminum block. The LSX 376 B15 is an iron block, and of course it's got this huge Whipple supercharger on top. And well, this is kind of an interesting hybrid because, as Trevor mentioned, it's LS from the deck up, small block Chevy from the deck down, and it's topped by a carburetor style intake manifold plus throttle body style EFI.
So instead of addressing horsepower per cubic inch in terms of efficiency, we want to talk a little bit about horsepower per pound. Now, packaging is a major concern when you're upgrading motors or building a custom application. So what kind of power can you cram into the smallest space?
All right, let's start with the Coyote. First of all, we're going to measure it valve cover to valve cover and see how wide this thing is. And looking at this, I'm going to call it a little over 29 inches wide. Now, to actually get a height measurement, to be fair, we're going to measure it from the crank center line rather than the bottom of the pan because the pan can vary. So
crank center line up to the top of this Boss 302 manifold, we're about 20.5 inches.
All right, let's see how wide this guy is. This looks like 23 inches. And again, from the crank center of the crank bolt,
we got 22 inches.
Okay, now this guy has got taller than standard valve covers here, so I'm gonna guess this is probably gonna be a little bit wider. Let's go up front here. Yeah, it's like 23 3/4 across the valve covers.
Center crank to the top of this Phytech throttle body, we got 20 1/4.
We've enlisted Tim here to help us out, get him up on the scales for us. And again, this is not going to be an exact apples to apples comparison. This engine doesn't have a water pump, but it does have a flywheel on the back. This guy here is fully dressed with no flywheel, and this engine has no water pump and no flywheel. So take it for what it's worth.
So on our budget $99.99 Coyote mod motor, now this is our only all aluminum power plant from this shootout, came in at 430 pounds.
What's it say? 589, I was close. I said 6 on the nose. Survey says 476, lighter than I would have expected. Well, our weighing is done, so now let's look at the results. Let's start off with our Coyote, which is actually a 304 cubic inch because it's a slight overbore. It's got an F150 block, stock heads, it's got some hot cams from Comp. What did we do in terms of horsepower per pound? Now I know we made 510 horsepower on this and it weighed 430 pounds. So that works out to?
So this is the lightweight of the bunch. That works out to 1.186 horsepower per pound.
All right, now of course we've also got probably 20 pounds worth of flywheel here.
Yeah.
So if we take that out of the calculation, give it a fair shot, what does it work out to?
Comes out to about a 1.24 horsepower per pound.
All right, let's jump over to this guy here, our other naturally aspirated engine. Iron block, 433 cubic inches, a very big engine. Made 682 horsepower on the dyno and weighed 475 pounds, so that works out to
1.43 horsepower per pound.
Wow, I did not expect that. So this is actually making a lot more horsepower per pound than our all aluminum dual overhead cam engine.
Sure.
Now, the one that I'm really excited about, 590 pounds. This is an LSX 376 B15 long block from Chevy Performance. It's got a Whipple 4.5 liter blower on top. 22 PSI on the dyno. This thing did 1,079 horsepower, and we don't really know how much peak torque it made because the dyno literally could not hold it below 4,000 RPM. So, with that in mind and our 590 pound weight, our horsepower per pound comes out to?
1.829 horsepower per pound.
A heavy engine, but producing just an absolute ton of power for that weight. So there you go, there's our 3 engine comparison. Like I said, not apples to apples, but still kind of fun to take a look at the specific output of these engines per pound of weight. Now we're going to throw some links in at the end of this so you can see all three of these run on the dyno. Stay here for a whole bunch more fun stuff from Power Automedia.